Good morning, everybody. I am sitting down today via Zoom with the delightful Marcia Hines. How are you, darling?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. Good to see you again.
Welcome. Yeah,
Um,
nice to see you too.
and congratulations, first off, because Still Shining is out now, 50th anniversary of your incredible career here in Australia. How do you feel?
Yeah. Well, how do I feel? Okay, I'll start with I'm stoked. I'm very happy because, like to still be relevant for 50 years is pretty cool. Excuse me. But it's happened in a flash, Marcus.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't know if it's my character, but I don't reflect on what was much. I'm very appreciative of what was, but moving on.
Well, 16, of course. I mean, going a bit back, 16, you came to Australia for Hair, the musical. So, and then it was no turning back. It was just like, let's just go through a bit of a roll call. 22 albums,
Yeah,
5 decades of hits,
yeah.
2.6 million copies sold, and the only woman ever in Australia to have 7 consecutive top 20 album releases. Amazing feat. Incredible. That's
I
something
have great.
I'm proud of.
I mean, yes, it is, and I did say that I don't reflect on stuff much, and I don't. But I'm very grateful, and I know why I've had this career, and that's because of the manager I've got.
Yeah.
I've had the same. Harry and Miller took care of me until I was 21, and then I hooked up with Peter Ricks. And it's been a marriage made in heaven. He's not my manager though, Max. He's my brother.
Now, there are two new songs on the album. One is the pop hit, which is Last One Standing, which is obviously
Yes.
out now, and it's going great. And then
Yes.
the beautiful ballad, Hard to Believe. Did you put a lot of love, obviously you did, into these two new singles? And what inspired those two songs?
Look, there's a great guy called Peter Coppin who is he's just one of those very clever people in the industry, and he found me these two songs.
Yep.
And been given lots and lots and lots of songs, Marcus, and it was like, unless I really feel it, I can't do it. Yeah.
Yep.
And then I heard one of the first song was Last One Standing, and I went, wow. And then the story goes, one of the writers of Last One Standing, Scotty, he did very well in American Idol, very well. And he was celebrating with some friends, and they were in a car and it crashed, and a few of them died.
Wow.
And so, and he lived, and so he wrote the song "Last One Standing," and some friends of his helped him through, that tragedy. And I mean, that's why people write too, Marcus. You write because something's happened that resonates with you.
Yeah.
Most songs are boo-hoo. When you hear love songs, they're boo-hoo songs. People are crying, saying, "Oh my God, he left me," And then I heard Hard to Breathe. And honestly, I've just been doing it live recently. And I talk to my audience quite a bit when I'm performing, and I said to them, like, this song, blah, 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 blah. And I said, and I'm going to tell you what the song reminds me of. Because like I said, this is new to my repertoire, these two songs. And I said, this reminds me of my mom.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, dig it.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And then when I recorded it, Marcus, it was during COVID.
Yep.
And Scotty, the writer that I spoke about earlier, he was in Scotland. And Michael was in LA. I was in a studio in Sydney called Universal Studios, and we recorded it like you and I are talking now.
Yeah.
It
Wow.
was weird. Welcome to the new world.
It's crazy.
And it's great.
I speak to a lot of incredible Australian artists who have been around, for these few decades. And one thing that I always comment on is how the industry has changed over these years.
Yes.
And especially over the course, don't you find, especially over the course of, maybe just even the last 5 years, how radical.
Oh yes, darling. Yes,
platforms
it's
change.
changed immensely because this thing called COVID came into our lives. And
Yeah.
I love human beings. We're incredibly, incredibly adaptable. And we adapted to that bad boy. And I think Australia did better than most countries. Okay, a lot of things were locked down, but that was just trying to keep us safe
Yep.
from the powers that be thought that was the best. No, this was unprecedented, Marcus. So how was anybody to know?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
and we got to do it. I have friends in America, and I'm going to drop a huge name now. So one of my dear friends, her sister was Donna Summer, and we still speak. You know? And during the COVID madness, Linda would call me and say, you know, girl, you chose well to live in Australia because it's crazy here in Boston, you know. And so I know that I've chosen well, you know. And I only came for 6 months too, you know. And here I am 50 years later,
I
you
know,
know.
here we are. Look at you now.
Yeah.
Look, you are seriously one of the most busiest in the industry, you know, whether it be obviously coming from Australian Idol, but then
Mm.
after that, you know, I mean, still recording music, but Velvet as well. I mean, you've been writing the Velvet
Yeah.
caravan for the last what, 3, 4, 5, 6 years?
And then, you know, I think we did it for 3 years and then COVID hit and then we came back with it.
Yeah.
So look, and Velvet, once again, is my manager's idea. It's the vehicle for me, and
And
it works beautifully. I love it.
gangbusters. I mean, obviously, the first rendition of it was Velvet, but now with, I think just last year it came out with Velvet Rewired. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Which I saw at the Adelaide Fringe just this year,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
February,
Yeah.
March. Amazing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we've done well with it, you know, and it's a great vehicle for all the people in the show. Because one of the girls, Sasha, that was one of the sirens or the backing singers in not really backing. Those girls work harder than I work, but Sasha got a gig with Blanc de Blanc, so
yeah.
she's doing well, you know. So yeah, they all. I hope and pray that everybody does well from doing such a great show.
Now, some of you, look, I'm going to talk about my experience with some of your music. There were two albums that were very influential with, you know, my not so much upbringing, but you know, my experience of you know exploring my life, etc. Two of the
Yeah,
albums were "Time of My Lives," which had absolute bangers on, and that was recorded
yes,
back in 1999. But I mean,
yeah,
that album was just such a good, fun, dance-fueled album.
yes. But I
Incredible.
love a good dance. You know, I love a good dance, my brother. You know,
And
I love that.
was that a good favorite album of yours?
Look, I don't know that I have a favorite album, but have an album that has certain tracks that I favor. And Time of Our Lives is one of them because I just really believe that that's what we're living at right now, Marcus. The time of our lives.
Yep,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then after that we had a 2006 album, which was Discotheque, which was just full blown disco,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I
I
had
love that
so much
album.
fun. And
Yeah,
of
it's
course,
not
on
cool.
that album, there was a track with your daughter as well, Denny, which was
Stomp.
Stomp. Yeah, fun.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it was great. It was great. It was wonderful to record. And Denny and I said to each other, because we sound very similar but very different. And I said, "Is that you singing?" She said, "No, no. Is that you singing?" You know. So yeah, when we record together, it's very hard to differentiate, whatever that word is. You know, one another's voice. Yeah.
Do you enjoy doing duets? Because of course, you know, on the album Amazing, you did Remedy with Russell Crowe, who's a good mate of
Yeah.
yours. Do you enjoy
Yeah.
the process of doing a duet with somebody?
I'd like to, but right now I've got to get, you know, the two songs that are out now happening, and then later on. But I believe doing duets, it's so important for me. I can only speak for me, but I love singing with other people. You know, you learn a lot about what you sing, and you'll hear them sing a line that you would usually sing in a certain way, and you go, "Oh, I would never sing. That's really cool. I never sing it like that." So you learn a lot when you do collaborations. You really do. But I just did a gig with Russell. I beg your pardon. I just did 2 gigs in Sydney with Russell, and that was great. We did Remedy, and we did another new song and another song, so that was good.
Oh, that's fun. Is
Yeah,
there somebody on your hit list that you would love to do a duet with down the track?
yeah, but they're dead.
Oh,
They're terrible. George Michael. I wanted to work so bad with George and Luther Vandross. What's wrong? You know, like those guys. I wanted to work with them, but now strange enough, I'd like to sing with the lead singer of U2. I think Bono's pretty cool. I
yeah.
think, you know, there's something really cool about him. And I'd like to work with Sting. I still like to do something with Tina Arena.
Yep.
I love Tina. You know, I mean, look, I just like great singers. So, you know, if anybody ever approaches me, everybody thinks I'm too busy. But by the way, I'm not. Yeah, I love doing duets. Yeah.
Yeah, phone me, phone me.
Yeah, they're good, don't you?
It's actually, you touched on it already, and it was one of my next questions. But obviously, being around, for these decades that we have been, we've started to see a lot of our icons and our muses and all these, incredibly influential legends, start to pass away. Just recently, Tina Turner, which was just devastating. But also, a good few years ago now, the David Bowies, the Princes, the Michael
Yes,
Jacksons,
yes.
the Whitneys.
Michael Jackson.
We're losing
Yeah,
these people that, defined so many generations for us.
they did. But the beautiful thing about death in their cases, their music lives on.
Yeah, correct.
Isn't it beautiful? Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Are you a fan of Tina Turner?
Oh, look, you humongous fan. You know, I grew up with Tina, and I've got this great story that I keep telling people. So my mother was a huge fan. Like when I say a fan, fan, fan. And so I got some tickets for my mom and I to see Tina. And you know, whoever was supporting was really cool. And then the lights, it was time for interval. Then the lights came down. You know, and my mother's sitting next to me, and she said, Marcia. I said, yes, mom. She said, you're good. She's great. And I went, you're right. What do you say? Only a mom can say that. And she was right, you know? I mean, have you seen the Tina musical yet?
No, no, no. I have not seen the musical.
Oh, you do yourself a favor.
Yeah, I
I
need.
don't know where it's traveling to, but it's cleaning up in Sydney. It's the bomb.
Yeah, I
It's
need
the
to
bomb.
go.
And the story, because you know, like I knew some stuff about her, but the story really covers it, you know. And Timomaji he plays Ike, wanted to kill him, wanted to kill him because you know he was so mean to Tina, you know. But the storyline is great. The storyline is great.
I need to get over for a weekend, I think.
Yes, darling, why not?
Now back to your career. I mean, like I say, I mean, the list of what you've been able to achieve is just monumentous. What is one of your highlights? What's one of your personal highlights, or a couple of your personal highlights?
Oh, look, you know, I'd have to say winning Queen of Pop because back in the day when you won a Queen of Pop, when people who are watching this don't know what Queen of Pop was, it was an award that you got, but it was people driven. So, Marcus, people would buy the magazine called TV Week,
Yeah,
cut out the coupon, find an envelope, fill it out, you know, fill out the thing in the coupon, and then find an envelope, put a stamp on it, and mail it. You
yeah.
see, so that was a really great accolade. And when I first won it, I wasn't a citizen. You know, I had adopted Australia as my home, but when I won it, I thought, wow, they've adopted me as well, which is pretty cool. I was just a permanent resident when I received Queen of Pop.
Just amazing and well
Yeah,
deserved. Um,
thank you.
Now let's go back to Still Shining, the album,
Mhm.
which has just obviously come out. I think 7th of July it came out. And it's been received so well. One of my personal favorites of your songs is one of the early ones, Fire and Rain. Just a beautiful, beautiful song. Do you have a personal favorite? I know it's hard because they're all like children, but is there one
Well,
that
it's funny. Well, you're right. They are all like children, Marcus. But one of my favorite songs would have to and will always be Fire and Rain
okay?
because that's how I started, you know. And I heard the song before I came to Australia. I was in Boston and it was a really big hit. And then I flew from Boston to Sydney to do my first gig with Hair. And I turned on the radio in my accommodation that I'd been given, and Fire and Rain came on the radio. And I was starting to feel a bit lonely because, you know, I didn't know where I was, didn't know anybody. And I said to myself, if ever you get a chance to record anything, you're going to record this song. And I got a crush on James Taylor too. So I love I love his writing. But yeah, it's a beautiful song and it's heartfelt, you know?
That's fantastic. Um,
Yeah.
Well, look, I wish you all the best with this. I know that you're doing a tour. You're doing all the eastern states at the moment. I am praying that this tour comes to Adelaide.
Cool.
Uh,
Yeah, cool. I
think-
hope it does because Adelaide's always been incredibly supportive of my career. You know, I mean, like back in the day on radio, Adelaide would play my stuff before anybody else. But Adelaide had some radio stations that would break stuff left, right, and center. You know,
oh,
new songs. Yeah, yeah.
and we
Adelaide's cool.
we had some incredible artists come out of Adelaide. You know, I
I
mean,
know.
Barnes is from Adelaide.
Jimmy,
You
yeah,
know, from
yes,
Elizabeth
yes.
out there. So, and obviously, most recently in Adelaide, you were here for the Gospel according to Marcia.
Yeah,
Which
we're
was
putting
sold
that
out. You couldn't purchase tickets. It was like nuts. That
album comes out in November.
and that was
So
just reviewed so well.
yeah, you know, look, you know, I was brought up in church, Marcus.
Yep.
So doing those gospel songs just felt like going home for me. And so we're releasing through ABC the Gospel According to Marcia album in November.
And it was
Yeah.
just beautiful, right?
Beautiful. So heartfelt. Huh? And the choir, you know?
Wow.
Choir. I
It was
know.
breathtaking. I remember walking out of the theatre that night, and I think it was Her Majesty's Theatre it was in.
Yes, it was. Yes.
Yeah. I remember walking out of the theatre and everyone was just like this beautiful, surreal kind of silence, almost this, where there were almost no words to describe the energy that everyone experienced that night, which is very, very rare.
You know, Marcus, we've gone through some stuff. We need a little bit of God every once in a while, you know what I'm saying? And that's what we hope we brought, you know, a little bit of God here. So yeah, it's a good thing. And you know, the serenity. And it was so interesting to look in the audience and see the audience reaction. Because I didn't know. You don't know. You can piece something together and hope for the best. But that really went down the treat. And I hope to do it again soon. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Marcia, this has been an absolute delight.
Yeah.
I wish you all the best with Still Shining, all the amazing success, and of course with the tour. And let's hope it gets to Adelaide. You've been amazing. Enjoy your day, and I will get to you very soon.
I hope so. You take good care of yourself.